Hi guys. This is gonna be a rough one. I'm Rex King, and welcome back to From the Archive. Today, we're talking about Psycho Beach Party. Woo! So, Psycho Beach Party was directed by Robert Lee King and was written by Charles Busch, the same guy who wrote the stage play that this movie is based off. How this was a play, I do not know, but apparently it was. The film had a 21-day shooting schedule, which is, I want to say, a record for a film that has a budget of $1.5 million. The film was released on January 23rd, 2000, at Sundance, of all things. How did that happen? And was a huge failure. As I mentioned earlier, $1.5 million budget, and only grossed $268,117 from what I could find. Well, that's a colossal failure, and probably the reason why you haven't heard of this movie. I've heard of it because, well, I'm a weirdo, and at this point you should know that. Anyway, so what exactly is this? Well, as the box says, it is a parody of 50s psychodramas, 60s beach movies, and 70s slasher films. Even though, I'll be honest, the more slasher references are probably more of an 80s feel, but I digress. Anyway, the film takes place on Malibu Beach, where we meet Florence, played by Lauren Ambrose, who is suffering from multiple personality disorder. She has a second personality called Anne that comes out at random intervals whenever she sees circles. And after seeing some surfers surf, she decides she wants to learn how to surf and goes to Kanaka, played by Thomas Gibson. From there, she learns how to surf and starts hanging out with the surf crowd. Furthermore, there's murders going on. If you're wondering why that sounds like I should be putting that first before talking about the beach part of this movie, yeah, I cannot stress this enough. The beach part of this movie is way more centered than the murders that are going on at the same time, even though they are probably supposed to be the main plot point. This film is trying to juggle a lot of different hats. It's, like it says, trying to be 3 different genres and not nailing any of them whatsoever. Now, mind you, it isn't supposed to be taken seriously, but I didn't even find myself laughing and was more perplexed by the decision to be this unfocused in a mess of a story. I couldn't really figure out which genre I should be caring about, where the film wanted me to really be invested, and honestly, the entire thing came out as a mess. No more so than the ending. The film ends about 3 times before the film actually ends. Now, I won't spoil it for the 3 of you who are probably going to pick up this film and watch it, but yeah, it's really a mess, to say the least. Which is a shame, because I do think this film had some potential. The characters aren't bad, they are a little bit one note, but they're kind of supposed to be. That's kind of the joke. And the performances, well, I mean, they're really good, and it's probably because they got some top tier performers. I mean, you got Thomas Gibson in this film. He's doing very well as Kanaka. We have an early Amy Adams appearance in this film. She's very good as well. I would say the standout, though, is probably Charles Busch himself, who plays the lead police officer in drag. And that's honestly doesn't even distract from the film. It works really well. If the film was more focused, I would say this cast is really perfect for this film. I mean, they were all apparently working on different films at the same time they were shooting this. So it's really interesting to see that they still brought their A game for the most part, and I really enjoyed seeing what they brought to the table. It just, the script and story was a mess, and the visuals don't help them because, well, despite the fact that this film was made on $1.5 million, it sure don't look like it. and all the sets feel uniformed, and none of them feel interesting at all. Now, mind you, that also could have been the point, but it just made it distracting and wasn't very interesting. The music's okay, a little bit out of place at times, but overall, fine. This film could have worked if the story was, refined a little bit, and more focused, and more interesting. As it stands, we have a film that's trying to do 3 different genres, not nailing any of them, not very funny, and that's kind of unfortunate because I do see the potential here. I don't recommend this one to anyone. Maybe if you're really curious about some of these actors and their, before they became really famous days. But at the end of the day, Psycho Beach Party is a skip. There really isn't anything here. There's not even any really cool special features, minus some commentary tracks with the writer and director. Other than that, there really isn't anything too interesting with this one. Anyway, that was Psycho Beach Party. Thank God it's over with. Next week, we're going back to the Best Picture battle with The French Connection. See you then.